One, it makes us a vassal, afraid to do that which we have to do, which any normal country should do for fear of losing the money. And two, it has turned us into a synagogue rather than a state. We walk around with a charity box, American charity, West German charity. You don't build a state like a synagogue. You build a state by creating a healthy economic infrastructure. And by that I mean do away with socialism, do away with bureaucracy, do away with red tape, and build a free market economy in Israel. And let people make money. You don't raise taxes, you cut taxes. People want to invest, let them invest. You want to build me a factory? Go right ahead. 10 years, no income tax. But build us a factory and give jobs and exports and hard currency, free enterprise. That will bring billions into Israel through private people and investment. And finally, I really do have faith in God. I really do. He is the one who will make sure that my country and my people, if we do what he wants, he will do what we want.
This is Professor James Tabor from the University of North Carolina Department of Religion, who has been here helping establish Bnai Noach, a real Noahide on his own.
Yes, sir.
Shalom, Rabbi.
Shalom, shalom.
Since October 1989, the world's been astounded at the sweep of events from the Urals to the Rhine. And I'm thinking of the obvious, but particularly Germany and what's happening in the Soviet Union and the satellite nations. From both a Jewish point of view and an Israeli political point of view, and as a religious Jew and as a rabbi, in other words, everything you are, how would you assess this in any order you want? Germany, Soviet Union. I mean, the times they are changing becomes redundant at this point. It seems like, and most people are as happy as can be. The press is jubilant, as if the Western world has triumphed. But it seems like Jews in particular have other things at stake in the events in Europe.
Certainly, I'm not overjoyed. Who knows what will be there? I remember right after the events started, so a State Department flunky or something, an employee wrote a long essay saying this is the end of history. The end of history. We see that we're going back to all of the particular nationalities and ethnic rivalries and hatreds of 16, 70, and 80 years ago. It's the First World War again. In Yugoslavia, suddenly we're hearing about Serbia, and all the rest, and Slovenia, and the Romanians are attacking Hungarians. In the Soviet Union, suddenly we find Armenians, Azerbaijanis at each other's throats. Certainly the great lesson of this is that internationalism can never compete with nationalism, ever. Man is near unto himself. That's the first thing. For the Jews, it is a cry from the Almighty, get out of Europe, get out of the exile, go home again, go home again. And we are seeing one more chapter in the end of days. The Jewish people are coming home. And not because they want to. They don't want to come home. They never did. They didn't want to leave Egypt. They were in the desert and they and they unfolded a long menu of what they had there. We remember the meat and the cucumbers and the fish and the garlic and the onions, the only people in the world that ever wanted to give up a chosen land for garlic and onions. They didn't want to leave Babylon. A grand total of 42,000 of them came back. There were almost as many camels and donkeys. Most of the other donkeys stayed in Babylon. And in Germany, he who does not want to see will never see. One had to be blind not to see that cloud of Hitler coming. And they refused to see. They refused to see. And how many might have been saved had they wanted to see? The land of Israel was created in order that the final redemption take place. What is happening in Europe is so that the Jewish people will come home. As far as Germany is concerned, you know, there are certain basic concepts that are found in modern Western thinking, which are such utter odds with concepts that are found in the Bible. And one of them is called vengeance. See, vengeance is not a nice word in modern parlance. The fact that in the book of Psalms it says, the Lord is a God of vengeance, it's kind of skipped over by the National Council of the Churches and the Reformed Rabbinate. Probably more deformed than reformed, but vengeance is a meaningful thing. Because if there would be no vengeance, and the evil person, the wicked person, would never be punished, then people would truly say, well, where is God? Well, where is God? It is the punishment of the wicked which proves that there is a God on this earth. The Germans have not received anywhere near what they deserve. I don't know what is happening in Eastern Europe, but I'm convinced that that is being brought to, that something there is being brought to bear on this issue too. In any event, since I've spoken about Jews of Eastern Europe and the tremendous need to escape quickly and come home, let me say something to you. I was born in this country, and I think this is a tremendous country. I mean, I can't tell you how much this country has given the world and got nothing back for it except being kicked in the shins and so on. Ingratitude, lack of gratitude. It's a great country. And certainly we Jews owe it a great deal. But that which was is not always that which will be. The truth of the matter is that if someone had come to a Jew in Germany 10 years before Hitler and said, someday things here will not be good, he would have stared at him in true amazement, in astonishment. The Jews of Germany wanted nothing more than to be the best Germans that ever lived. They didn't even call themselves Jews. They called themselves Germans of the Mosaic faith. There was a Jewish foreign minister in Germany in 1922. The first Jewish Secretary of State in this country didn't get there till 1972. That's only because he fled Germany. If someone would have told the Jews of Germany, listen, it's dangerous, get out, they would have said to him, and they did say to him, this isn't Poland, this is Germany. I have terrible fears of what is going to happen in this country. I have terrible, terrible fears. And I love this country. I can't stand people that are bashers of America. They should be ashamed of themselves. But I have terrible fears. God forbid there should be an economic collapse in this country, I do not want to think of what will happen here.